everybody, I'm here with Laura Cvitkovich, and she is an amazing dancer and a past student of mine, and it's a pleasure to be here with her today. And we're just going to chat a little bit today about her journey from having a BFA, an undergrad with a dance major, and then moving into what she's doing now, and I'm going to let her talk a little bit more about that. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Thanks for having me today.
Yeah, my pleasure. So can you just tell the audience a little bit about what you are up to? Because I know you're really in the throes of it right now.
Yeah, so after I graduated from SFU with my Bachelor of Fine Arts, I had a major in dance and minor in English. I took part in your program, the Desirée Dance program, for 1 year. Had a great time dancing, continuing to dance after graduating. And in that time, in the span of that year, I started to get an application ready for the PDP program, Professional Development Program, at Simon Fraser University, again, for their 1 year teacher training course. So while I was dancing with you that year, we talked a lot about the application and prepping myself to see if I was going to be ready to go back to school full time, and kind of put dancing on to the side for a little while.
Was that a big decision? I know you and I talked about it quite a bit, but because you're kind of choosing a stream, like a certain direction to go, because there's so many things like within the dance industry itself. Like often as kids, I think we aspire to be like the prima ballerina or like the star of the show, that's sort of the modeling that we get. But there's so many careers, like so many options and choices. And I love that you had the courage just to really like pick one and focus on it, because I think it's easy to get kind of dispersed with our energy too. It's like, oh, do a bit of this, do a bit of that, and it can be confusing. Yeah. So that when you say teacher training, what does that mean? Like, what will you come away with?
So it's a 1 year program. If you enter the program with a degree, holding a degree like I already had, the BFA going in, you have the option to apply to graduate, and you'll get another degree, a Bachelor of Education, when the year is complete. So right now I'm just finishing up the program to get my Bachelor of Education, and then I'll have a minor in Curriculum and Instruction based on the courses that I've taken this summer. And it also, we did 2 practicums. So I started in September and I did a short practicum for the fall, and then in the spring I did a long practicum where I was teaching dance in a high school in Burnaby, and that was an amazing experience. I got to teach an all-deaf dance class because I was at the BC Provincial School for the Deaf, so that was a huge learning curve for me, but an amazing opportunity.
How did you do that?
It was really
an example of something you would do with people that are hearing impaired?
Yeah, we would use a lot of videos in that class to help them because they're very visual learners, and then just heightening all my movements and all my facial expressions to help with communication. But I do have an interpreter in the room for all those classes as well. But sometimes when you're working in smaller groups, the interpreter can only do so much to help you. They do an amazing job, but when I'm working one-on-one, that sort of thing, I'd really use like big gestures and facial expressions to help us continue to progress with our steps and learn new steps.
So much of communication is non-verbal, as we know as dancers.
Yeah,
right?
And you really start to notice that after having an experience like that one.
So that's great. So now, how has your year been? Like in this last start, I imagine it's pretty intense because it's a fairly short program. It's only 3 semesters, is that right?
Yeah, 3 semesters.
3 semesters, so you have to learn all the curriculum.
And right now in BC, they're in the process of switching to a new curriculum. So it's a big transition for any current teachers out there right now. For us, like someone like myself, a new teacher coming in, it's a bit easier because we're kind of only working with the new curriculum and starting to get used to it and taking a look at the old one for some references, but really working with the new one that's been brought out. So yeah, it was a lot to learn in a short period of time, but I was amazed how much my dance experience helped me in this program, and just teaching at community centers and dance studios, how much that experience, even though I didn't think it was going to be as related as it was, it really helped me. I was already in the right mindset for a lot of the ways of thinking that we practice and work on in the program.
Can you give an example of that, what you mean by that? Like a way that you felt ready or experienced?
Yeah, so a lot of the program, they focus on student-based learning. So rather than the teacher at the front of the room dictating what's going to happen, putting that back on the students and seeing what their interests are and what they're interested in wanting to work on or learn about. So that was something I tried to do in my dance classes for sure when I was teaching at studios and rec centers. I remember teaching in the city of Vancouver and teaching a 5-year-old class, and they were just in love with Frozen and Let It Go, so we just went with that, and we played it all the time in all our classes.
Every kid, even now, loves that song. Yeah, so there's some kind of co-creation and give and take with the kids. So and it makes it way more rewarding as a teacher, I think, too, right?
Yeah, and the students, they really dive into the work when it's something that they are genuinely interested in.
How do you think we rate, like, in a world scale? Like, you know how we hear all these things about how great, like, the Finnish school system is, for example, which is very student learning based. How do you think we rate with that, maybe compared to the States or other places in Europe? Or
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't have much experience looking at other curriculums just yet, but from the sounds of this new wave of the BC curriculum, I think it's a very exciting time to be a student in BC and be a new teacher in BC, and we're definitely headed in an upward direction, heading on the right path for sure. So it's exciting that there's talk about it right now, and that it's something that people are thinking about and knowing something needs to change and move forward, progress.
And the fact that we even have dance as a teachable subject in the schools, I think says a huge amount, because as we know, the arts are always the first thing to get axed. So the fact that there's funding going into a dance program, that's amazing.
I was part of the Fine and Performing Arts module at SFU, so I got to work with musicians. I was the only dance student in the course, but then also a lot of visual artists as well. So it was really nice to have all these artists working in the same space and looking at curriculum and teaching and learning outcomes, all with this artistic approach to it, and ways to bring art into our other classrooms that we were teaching. So I taught some English classes, and ways to bring in drama and performance and different things into those rooms as well was really awesome.
So it's sort of combining the disciplines. So even though you're teaching English, you could bring in some dance moves or theater.
Definitely.
Oh, that's amazing. That's so cool. And so will you be teaching different subjects or only dance?
I'm qualified now, once I complete the program, to teach dance and English, because those were my teachables going in. And then I had some experience in some special education classes as well. So with my practicum experience, I won't be qualified fully to take on an education class full time, but I could definitely TOC in some education rooms, and then you start to just build your credentials for that as you continue to teach, the more experience you have.
And what does TOC mean?
A teacher on call. So right now it'd just be when somebody's sick or away for the day, we're getting called into different rooms in different schools, but eventually start to apply for some contract positions, or hopefully some sort of dance position will open up that I'll be able to.
That's amazing. Oh, that's so exciting. And what would the average wage be for a teacher, if you don't mind me asking, just to give people who are thinking about going into
if you're a teacher on call, I believe it's around $200 to $250 a day.
Okay.
And then once you sign a contract, then you become like a salary-based employee. So I'm not sure how it changes from there, because we haven't really taken a look at that part yet. But yeah,
not yet.
The TOC wage, I think in the long run can be a bit better than being on a salary, because you're just getting paid per day.
Oh, interesting.
but you don't have the benefits and that sort of thing that come with the longer positions. Yeah, so I would suggest taking 1 or 2 education courses at a university just to see if it's something that you're interested in. And after you take those classes, you might have a better idea if it might be for you or not. And then I would suggest applying. That's kind of what I did. I wasn't positive about it when I applied, but I thought I might regret this if September comes around and I didn't apply. So I applied, still not sure whether or not I would accept it if I got in, and then I got in and I had to make that decision. And I took this year as the experience as it came to me. So I was fully committed to the program as I was in it, but in my own head I was questioning things along the way, but just being open to learning and to experiencing and saying yes to any opportunity challenging that came along. So teaching a deaf dance class was not something I had any experience in or something I thought I'd be doing when I started this program, but when I was given the opportunity of, you could have a grade 8 class, a grade 9 class, grade 10 class, grade 11 class, or you could take on the deaf dance class. I'm like, well, I'd love to challenge myself and try that. And then I also challenged myself again by taking on a class of 30 students with varying exceptionalities and with special needs for PE. So we did a bunch of different movement units with them, which I was completely out of my element, but I would just dived in head first. So I would just say, be open to trying anything, and you might not know what you fall in love with, because now I think I have a newfound love for teaching those types of learners, and it's something I definitely want to pursue even more and bring more movement into their lives with those that they use movement in different ways sometimes, but it's great to get them moving and dancing and expressing themselves.
That's so cool. Yeah. What is the biggest benefit that you see, especially with kids with exceptionalities? Like, what would you say you see happens before and after?
I think a lot of times with them, like I taught some students that were nonverbal, so a lot of them use different modes of communicating to begin with. So when I teach a different class, sometimes students are judgmental or hesitant to get into the movement, whereas I noticed with all these students in these classes, they just dive into any work, anything you give them head first, and they don't judge each other, they don't judge themselves. It's like the dream of a teacher to create a safe and caring community of learners, and I walked into this room and that was so established with these students. Then you don't have the issues of jealousy and of cliques and that sort of thing. Everybody, it was such a sharing and safe place for them. But my teacher was like, yep, I feel like you can just do it. Like, if you want to do it, just go for it. And I'm like, okay. But the teacher that I shadowed, the teachers I shadowed, they were so supportive. And just like, if I ever needed or felt uncomfortable, needed like help or wanted to talk about it, they're like, yeah, like let's sit down, let's talk about it. What do you like, where do you need the help? And so that was really cool.
And so what style would you do with them? Because I know you're highly trained in ballet, jazz, and modern.
I did a bunch of different things with them. The first unit we did the whip nae nae because they're really interested.
What is that? I think I might be a little out of the loop. Oh. Amazing.
And then we did cha-cha slide with that group. Where the song talks them through all of the steps. I had a few deaf students in this PE class, but their interpreters really helped to work them through, and just following the pedestrian style movement with me was easy for them, and for the educational assistants to watch, and then they could follow them as well, because the song helps as a huge aid to just keep everybody on track.
So it's like you're teaching the teachers too, right?
Yeah, so that was interesting, and I was nervous about that, being a student teacher in that experience, but they all welcomed me with open arms, so that was good. I thought I knew who I was, knew sort of what I wanted to do going in, and it's like I feel like I've like taken off layers and put new layers on, and like just the transformation that's happened in 1 year's time. It feels incredible. It feels like all these different views on things, and I don't know, there's so much change that has happened in this past year, and that I can still tell it's continuing to happen. So it's not so much of a doubting myself, it's more of a just like noticing, like, remember where I was in September, and look at where I am now, and look at where I was a month ago and a week ago. And
that's amazing. And do you get some time off to do some processing and sort of reflecting, or will you go, so you go to August and then you might start in September?
In September, yeah. So I'll have a bit of time in August to do some reflecting. They also really encourage reflection within the practice of teaching. So throughout the program, we did weekly written reflections, or we had visual journals, like large blank page books with paint and pastels and anything we could use to just like get something on the page and let it out, whether it was a good day or a bad day. And they really encourage, if you find somebody in the program that you connect with, or the teachers, to just keep open lines of communication throughout the experience. So make sure you've got some people in your corner to talk to when you've had a bad day, and celebrate with when you've had an amazing day too. So
sounds like a great program. Sounds really wonderful. Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
So exciting. And so what, in the fall, do you have some work to go to? Is there some plan that you have?
Yeah, so I've been hired by the Surrey School District in BC to be a TOC. So that's how you start as a teacher, get on the teacher on call list. So I'll just be starting as filling in September, and then I'll keep my eye on the website throughout the summer for any sort of dance contract positions that come available, and we'll go from there, hopefully get a classroom at some point. That's my own.
That's amazing. What do you think the benefit is of going in this route, like through the university, through like a more scholarly route, as opposed to, I mean, you could have started your own dance studio or pursued work at different studios around the city. What is the benefit of doing it this way?
I think there's lots of benefits to both sides. For me, I like to have structure and to know where I'm going to be. I need to wake up at 7 and I need to be there at this time and end at this time. So for me, going into a program like this was ideal because of the structure of it and the schedule layout of it. It also, I down the road, I wanted to see myself working during the day hours when I was currently working during the evening hours. So that was something that was appealing to me. That's a bit
huge,
different than,
because if you want, not saying that you do, but just in general, like if you want to have a family, then you kind of want to keep the same hours as your kids are going to have, right? So that you're home in the evenings to be with them and whatnot. So yeah, that's really something to consider, because as dance teachers, often we're teaching in those recreational hours after work or all day Saturday, whatever it might be. So yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
That's great. So exciting. Well, I can't wait to see how it goes. We'll have to catch up again, and you can let us know how it's going when you're actually in your school, because I'm pretty sure you're going to have your own class and be doing really great really soon. And I just love that you're kind of almost already specializing in a kind of way with those special kids, because dance is just such a magical language to help people grow through personal growth, artistic growth, even that process of transformation, like you're saying. And when kids can't speak or even express their needs, sometimes just having that creative flow through their body can be so powerful and so confidence building. And you're just the perfect person to do that, because you have the best sense of humor. And you're so nice, and you're such a good dancer. So I'm proud of you. Good job. Okay, so I hope to talk to you soon, and thanks so much for this today. And have fun.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Good luck, everybody.